A warm welcome and thank you for keeping it right here on Sunrise at Sea. You're just in time for Our Views, which is by far my favorite segment where we get to discuss real life conversations. Now, in this particular segment this morning, we're going to be discussing a very sensitive issue. Of course, this comes at a time when ladies gathered up around Garden City and Mulago, around those roads, and they were holding cards and they were saying, want our husbands to increase Kameza money, while others were complaining that side chicks are taking most of their time of their husbands. So today we asked the question and we posted it on our Twitter platform and we asked your views. Are side chicks the root cause of failing marriages? Well, joining me this morning are the ladies, and to my far left I have Sarah Apollo, I have Agi Uwase, and then I have a special guest appearance, and I'm sure that you did see her in the Tweet Jabs part 2, and she's none other than Madame Sophie Mulindwa, and she's a mother, a wife, and a business owner, and also an interior architect by profession. I beg your pardon. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You're welcome to Our Views segment.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So ladies, let's dive right into the conversation and we'll ask the question, are side chicks the root cause of failing marriages?
No.
Why?
That came up so strong.
So quickly,
yes.
so quickly, no.
Here's the thing. Side chicks could be a causal agent, but they're not entirely the cause of failing marriages. Because we understand usually by the time side chicks come in, they're usually underlying causes in marriages. It could be that you are actually abandoning your partner's needs, you are not taking care of them. And for the case of men, they're usually very silent. They don't usually complain, unlike women. So sometimes you can downgrade, their needs, and because they're not vocalizing what they want, you believe that maybe they do not have any problems. So what happens is, if they cannot get what they want from you, they will focus on the other end. So for me, honestly, side chicks are not a cause of broken marriages. Marriages are always shaky by the time side chicks come in the picture. Yes, there is always those underlying causes that cause the marriage to be shaky, and then side chicks come in. Yeah. But
assistant.
Yeah. Call them assistant. It could be that. Could be an assistant of sorts. But yes, honestly, side chicks for me are not the cause of marriage breakdowns.
Okay.
Not at all.
How about you, Sarah?
Cheating husbands are the cause of marriage breakups. it's the couple's problem. Like, I agree with Aggie, it's the couple's problem, not the side chicks. Sometimes if you are a wise person, you could actually use a side chick to help your marriage, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Because
Exactly
yes,
how?
you could have a side chick help your marriage, because you see,
Okay.
I'm not married. However, I have been in a long-term relationship I have been in one for a very long time. And I know how hectic it can have to be in a relationship. It's a full-time job. You have to cater to your partner's needs. You have to look after them. You are planning for them. You are thinking for them. You're worrying about them. And sometimes, especially when children come into the picture, you get even more occupied as a woman. Do you understand what I mean?
No,
and sometimes
you don't have
you
time for
so
your
you're
husband
trying to
and
you
your
get more
You need another
first
way
way.
to help you on
Yes.
your duties.
There's nothing
Like,
wrong with
cook
having
for
an
him,
assistant.
pamper him. Okay.
Entertain him. You understand?
Why
Why?
you
Because
dealing
when
with the more
kids,
serious issues
when
in a
kids,
relationship?
this is the thing. This is the thing. First of all, I am the type of woman who feels like a side chick would not even be an issue of mine in a relationship. Like, I have no problem. Like, cheating is not the worst thing that could happen for me in a relationship.
Okay.
Oh, but
Because
it can be very bad.
it
can lead to an end of a relationship. It can get to that point.
But it's not a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
Oh, so you're
For me personally,
so you're
it's not a deal-
polygamous.
I am.
Okay.
I come
So
from
if
a-
you're polygamous,
Let's
I
just finish.
I have grown up in a polygamous setting. I have seen it with my grandparents, my parents, my household. So it's something that does not bother me. For me, it's not a deal breaker, cheating. And that's why I say a side chick can come in to be an assistant, to keep him occupied on days that you don't feel
On
like.
day offs, when
on
you don't
day
feel
offs.
like
When you
being
need
a
your
wife
day.
and a
When
mother.
exactly, when you don't feel like being
And
a
that
wife
means
or
you
mother.
weren't ready to
So
be
they
a wife
should
or a mother in the first
listen.
place.
Let me finish. let me finish by
Okay.
let me please say what it is that I want to say.
Okay.
Listen, we like to think that we as women are superwomen and we can do it all. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
You come in and then you think you're going to cook, you're going to have a full-time job, then you're going to be a full-time mother, then you're going to be a full-time, wife at home for your husband. You can't do all these things. And if that was the case, then we wouldn't even be here sitting down talking about side chicks. Your husband probably has a side chick whether you know it or not. You get? And because you're at home, by saying your husband is making it home on time on curfew does not mean he's not cheating on you. Do you understand what I mean? So I think as women, we have bigger issues or bigger things to be focused about. I do understand that a side chick can be a deal breaker for some wives. And for a lot of women,
Would be a deal breaker
case
for
in
me.
point why they are protesting on streets. Do you understand? But you have bigger issues. And for me, cheating is not a deal breaker. So if you are smart about it,
it's okay.
she
My
can.
man can-
If you are smart about the situation, then just be aware of it and let him do his thing, or let him officially bring her home. I know that you are there in the boys' quarter.
But I think what Sarah is trying to say, at the end of the day, it's up to a woman to choose her battles. I mean, if
Yes.
a side chick is not a deal breaker for you,
It's
then
not a
move
deal
on.
breaker for
However,
me.
I would like to hear from you, Sophia.
Okay, first of all, I kind of understand where Sarah is coming from.
Okay.
But from a polygamous marriage,
Yeah.
not a polygamous relationship. Because whereas we can sit back and say, okay, they're not the cause of the problem. Once your husband gets a side chick, yeah, what guarantee do you have that the side chick is not getting a side guy?
Yeah.
So this sexual network, to what end do we continue and say, okay, they are helping me? So you're inviting several diseases and all that stuff, If you're saying that you're okay with a polygamous marriage,
Yes.
so that means that the three of you are committed in this relationship.
Yes.
But we're talking about polygamous relationship polygamous relationship, not marriage.
relationship,
Yes. Open relationship is actually also different, because that means you've opened up a completely different. We're all basically okay to be with whoever we want to be, and that should be fine. And we're not secretive about our actions in the back. Now, when that works for you, whereas that might work for you, and it might be okay with the guy,
Yes.
your boyfriend, that okay, let's be polygamous in our relationship. What guarantee do you have that she is going to be monogamous to him? And when do we stop this channel, this continuous sexual networks? To what end? What are you trying to get to? So I am not personally, I'm not for that. I am a Muslim and I'm a wife and all that, and yes. But even still, whereas the deen doesn't encourage, but it does not also discourage. It is legal. If a man wants to go and marry a second wife, a third to the fourth, that's also legal. However, it is not a must for a woman to stick through and stay in that relationship and say, okay, because the deen says we can have polygamous relationships and that should be okay with me. No. But are the side chicks the cause of failing marriages? Yes, they can be. Yes, they can be, because if my husband starts taking away from what should be our economic growth as a family is, and we're taking this money off, and this money is being used to Dubai trips, like these women said, when are we supposed to build our house? When are we supposed to, give our kids good education? When are we supposed to do that? So as a wife, this is going to frustrate me. And as a wife, this is going to be probably one of the reasons I would want to leave. Because if he's probably having sex the other side, once he comes home, he doesn't want. So even my emotional needs are not catered for.
Yes.
So pretty much, why am I there? Then you find people
This is what I would say in my perspective. I do not think that side chicks are the root cause of failing marriages. Neither do I think cheating husbands are the root cause of failing marriages. I think the reason as to why marriages are failing is because, especially when it comes to the men, either the man just does not want to be in the relationship, or the woman is not interested in the relationship. Because, I mean, why would you get into a relationship and then go ahead and cheat? The thing is, even when you are unhappy in a relationship, you'll sit down with your partner and talk about it. You won't go looking for a side chick. And like Steve Harvey says, the only thing that will keep a man in a relationship
Yes.
is a man that wants to be kept.
Yes,
It's
no
quite
woman's
different
going to
for the
stay, yeah.
women, because for us women, we are driven by emotions and we are driven by our hearts. But before I move on to the next question, Aggie, you had...
Yes, I'd like to, say something about what Sophia said.
Yeah.
And she said, while husbands are taking the side chicks on trips, they are taking away from what should be at home.
Yeah.
Now, this is not a problem of the side chick. It's the problem of the husband in the home, because he knows at the back of his mind, we have to build a house, we have to take our kids at school. He knows all the responsibilities back at home.
So his priorities are now diverted.
He has to think straight and know that before anything, my family should come first. You cannot blame that on the side chick. The side chick is just seated there and asking for what she wants in the relationship,
granted.
according to their agreement.
Yes.
So you cannot blame that on the side chick.
No,
at all.
granted. And again, like I said, no man is going to stay if he doesn't want to stay.
Yeah.
If he wants to leave, he's going to leave. And you can scream about all the different side chicks. If his intention is to get a side chick, he will still go ahead and get a side chick. For me, I feel like the reason for failing marriages is not even side chicks. It's not even it's the fact that
Immaturity.
not even that is that we have completely failed to understand our worth as women. We've completely failed to understand our worth as women, to speak up on exactly what it is that we want to do and actually put in action what it is that we want to do. So if I want to be better, I need to fix me. If I want to have better pay, I need to fix me. If I want to have better income streams, I need to work towards that, rather than sit and still complain about another woman, and this is what's happening. And if the man decides to leave, well, if he leaves, then hey, guess what? I can take care of me and I can take care of my family.
I like what you have said, me, because at the end of the day, you're only accountable
Responsible for your
own
yes.
actions. And I do not subscribe to monogamy, because you cannot be 100% monogamous to one person. You cannot satisfy your partner 100%. There are going to be places where you fall short. And what Shivan said, relationships are not black and white. Some things, it's not about just talking. Sometimes it has to go about with actions. Another thing is about taking responsibility about the person that you chose. Many people choose people for the sake of, I have to be married by the time I reach 30. Before I'm 30, I must get married. And now you're rushing into a situation with somebody who you shouldn't even be getting married to, and then now you're blaming somebody else for why your relationship is falling apart. How about we start normalizing taking responsibility for our actions in the failure of our relationships? I married a wrong person. I married a man who does not want to be with me. I am married to a man who has told me time and again he does not want to be with me.
Should we put an expiry date to
marriages? No, I think
should we put an expiry date?
We need to start evaluating ourselves. And when you say expiry date, perhaps we should now start have contract marriages. Let's renew this contract after every 6 months. Can I still stand you for the next 6 months? I think so. Sign on the dotted line.
Or even when someone is asking and proposing, will you marry me? Then you ask the question, for how long? How long do you intend? Or do you plan to be in love with me?
At that point, are you thinking about that? You think about the decorator,
You're very excited in the moment.
You're very
You're not
excited
thinking
and what they're
about
bringing
that.
at you.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me define what a side chick is, and this is actually to the Cambridge Dictionary, and it says a side chick is a mistress, a woman one dates in addition to one's girlfriend or wife, usually in secret. So Sophia, I'll pose this question to you. What is it that drives men from their... I mean, we've seen couples. I know of stories, and we see these things. They happen in our families and homes. They happen with our friends. They happen with our aunties. They happen with our uncles, and we have seen this. They live their happily married life, and they go looking for a side chick. Why?
That's a long discussion. I don't know if we have till tomorrow. I feel like there are very many reasons. There are very many reasons why men step out of their marriages. And one of them could be because, again, women, we wear our emotions on our sleeves most of the time. So we're able to vocally say what it is that we don't like, or what it is that's bothering us, or go talk to someone about it. Group of girlfriends, let's vent, have banter talk about what's happening. But men don't so often get to do that. So the frustrations of that build up, and then it's a volcano that he cannot express himself in the house, and then he feels like maybe he needs to go and take that frustration somewhere else. So whether it's sexual frustration from he's probably feeling like he's not getting enough sex, or whether it's financial frustration, whatever it is, I still feel like by the time the man steps out of the relationship, it has absolutely nothing to do with the wife at home. That is a decision that you have made by yourself. And whatever it is that that has made you go about that, whether it's your financial frustrations from work, whether it's issues at home, you can't stand, you have now too many children, everyone is running around, there are too many demands, and you feel like you need a breather, whatever that is, the woman is also living that story, by the way. Mm-hmm. She's living that frustration with you. Whether it's money, whether it's chaos at home, she's living that story, but she's choosing not to cheat. Although these days, even chicks, we have
side
men. We have Panados. We have zaddies.
We learn from the best.
Yes, but at the end of the day, whatever it is that causes it, and some of these guys, by the way, don't necessarily want to do this, but peer pressure. My friends have, side chicks and I should probably look more of a man if I also have 1 or 2, 3 going around. Yes, to test themselves whether they still have it, whether they still,
So is it an ego thing?
I feel like to a certain degree it is. At a certain degree it is, and also we can also look at family pathologies. You look at what your father was and had. You're feeling like I came from a polygamous family. I can't be in this monogamous relationship, even if this is what I agreed upon with my wife at the start. I still feel like, my family demands of me to have, 1 or 2, 3 or whatever kids out of my marriage. And so they step out also. You can look at that as part of the reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your opinion, Sarah, what would you say?
Listen, I think sometimes women should also start to take responsibility for perhaps the fact that their husbands are stepping out on them. I'm saying some women, I'm not saying a lot of women, but some women are the cause that their husbands don't have peace at home. You turn your house into a war zone. The minute he comes in, so much, you understand? You are complaining a lot. Nothing he does is ever good enough. You belittle him, you talk down on him. Why is he going to want to come home? Ask yourself that question. If you're not making the house a la boudoir, a place that he can have peace. If a man is peaceful, he's going to come home. You know why he's going to the side chick? Because it is peaceful.
No, he's going to the side chick because he has decided to
do that on his own. He has decided to go there because it is peaceful.
But the frustration that I'm also having in my relationship here, we're living this story together.
No, I'm talking about the husbands who are having troublesome wives, who are having wives.
But even men are troublesome.
No, listen, this is not a case of this one against that one. I'm talking about the instance of men who have toxic wives.
So is the solution to dealing with a toxic wife looking for a side chick?
A side chick?
It is the painkiller in the situation because he may be coming.
Go take a swim. Go take a swim. Go to the spa.
He may be tied to that situation, to that marriage, and it is not just him and her. Probably it's a tying of families. Perhaps there is something that is keeping him there and he can't leave. Perhaps it's his children. Do you understand? And he's like, for the sake of peace, I'd rather remove myself from the situation. For the sake of peace, I'd rather go home after she has fallen asleep. You get? For the sake of peace, first of all, I'm scared of eating this woman's food. What if she's going to poison me? Because it's the fact that there are men that have these grievances. And this is the thing. I wish we as women would stop sitting so high on our horses and feeling victimized like the ones who have been done wrong all the time. How about we sit down and actually listen when our men talk? How about listening? Have you ever said to yourself, ask one woman why the relationship or marriage failed? She's going to say the man. It is never the woman. But you neglect to also to own up to the fact that you did not cater to his emotions. You did not cater to, give him attention. You did not listen to him when he said that he wanted something, when he asked for something, but you are stressing me. I have the children. I have come home, I cook. I have to go and work. I'm talking to the women who are toxic. I'm not saying all women are. I'm talking to the ones who are toxic. I think we need to also try and see their side of the story. How about have conversations and not confrontation?
Maybe we need to
How
talk
about
about
try
what
therapy?
you define as toxic. What do you define as toxic?
What I define as
Yes,
toxic.
what are those toxic habits that you...
An abusive woman. There are statistics to show that there are women who physically batter their men. There are statistics to show that there are women who intentionally withhold sex from their men as punishment. There are statistics to also show that there are women who intentionally keep their children away from their men. There are women who intentionally hide funds, finances, and money from their husbands and let their husbands bear every financial burden in the house. There are women who do this. There are women who poison their husbands. There are women who attempt to kill their husbands. There are women who are cheating. There are women who are beating down on their husbands' self-esteem in public. Case in point, we have been talking about
basically you mentioned everything men do.
Yes, this is not a case of
women.
Who is doing who to who. I'm saying that there are women who are also doing these things, and let's learn to own up to that.
Yes.
We have probably even been that woman at some point X in our lives.
Yes.
So, Anke, throughout the conversation,
Yes.
I saw you looking east, west, central, north. What did you want to say?
For me, honestly, the only thing that I want to add on to this whole conversation is the fact that at the end of the day, a man and the woman came together while no one of us was there.
And made a
The
choice.
side chick
Yes.
wasn't there, and every other person wasn't. So if you have problems in your marriage, if you have grievances, sit down on a round table, the both of you, and iron them out before they go on the other end. I don't like to see women fighting each other. The side chick is taking my husband. No, yes, the side chick is not taking your husband. The other day, Pastor Robert Kayanja's wife, and that is Jessica Kayanja, came on to, was criticizing women, criticizing campus students who are taking away their husbands. You're taking away our husbands. We are miserable in our marriages because of side chicks. You're not miserable because of side chicks. Sit down with your husbands and iron out those issues
Or
back at
maybe
home.
get the side chick. If you know the side chick, get her, put her on the left, put yourself on the right. See what she has that you do not have. Maybe you are the issue.
That is very
but
unfair.
anyway, this conversation is actually going to continue, and maybe next time as we discuss this particular issue, we might actually be looking at side chick etiquette. But before we do,
That's
say
your side
goodbye-
chick
yes,
etiquette.
side chick etiquette. To continue this conversation, time is not on our best.
We're not encouraging
time is
side
not on our-
chicks.
yes, we're not encouraging it, but it is very important that if you're planning to be in a polygamous relationship, if you're planning to date a married man, you understand that there are some rules of criteria that you definitely need to follow.
And you're sounding like I have
Any
experience
last
in this.
remarks before we say goodbye? And I'll start with you, Sophia. Yes, the conversation has to
chick
continue.
Anyway, what I would say is, first of all, we need to accept that no man wants to be, is going to stay kept. If he doesn't want to stay there, he's still going to go and chase after, I don't know, all the alphabets, until he gets whatever satisfaction, if ever at all. But for me, the message I have for all women out there, especially married women, is let's know our worth. Know your worth in the sense, in every bit of it, in what is it that you deserve, and what it is that you want to strive for, and what your purpose is. Let's not make it so much about the men or the side chicks. Let us make it about ourselves, and let us work on us. So if we can fix us, everything else will just, fall into place like proper dominoes. So I feel like grow your whatever it is that you want to grow, whether it's your business career, whether it's your whatever, but iron out your path instead of sitting there and everything, your on whatever it is that a man is supposed to do and shouldn't do. First fix you, and whether you're okay and happy with yourself, then you can give from that full cup. Okay. So pretty much that's what I want to say. And I want to also mention that, to be fair, I'm not agreeing with what Shivan said. Please don't scale yourself up against a side chick. And it's also, I understand that it's not so easy for women to sit and have round table conversations with their men, because, sometimes we have narcissistic husbands, or even the women can be narcissistic, and so a conversation across that is positive becomes very difficult for both parties to have. But you can take it upon yourself and introduce a marriage counselor if you can, relationship counselor if you can, or a counselor for yourself, and then figure out whether that's what you want. And I could go on till the cows come home.
Absolutely. Well, that winds up what we had for you this morning on our views. But before we do say goodbye, and I'll read just 2 responses that we got from our social media platform. And the first one comes in from Ivan Kawa, and he says, if these are married women going for the streets, then they lack the ability to settle disputes with their husbands. If any, I cannot blame side chicks. These creatures have an agenda which they have achieved. The 15 minutes of fame. And our next tweet comes in from Ili Derrick, and he says, no, he's saying no, that side chicks are not the root cause of failing marriages. No, outbreak of pastors in religious beliefs are the topmost cause of failing families, followed by feminists, NGOs that are educating, and hashtag African lifestyle women, how to be treated as at Western lifestyle women. Make research, most failing women spend most of their time in churches. And our last response comes in from Satan, and she says, not entirely. Men without character are the reason why marriages are failing. Most women have done above and beyond to be the best wives. However, the men's pieces, I am telling you. But anyway, that wraps up the conversation that we had for you this morning on our views. Thank you so much, ladies. And the conversation continues on our Twitter platform, that is at CTV Uganda. Let us know what you think. Otherwise, see you in a bit.
Well, unfortunately, all good things do come to an end, and that's all we had for you on this episode of Sunrise at Sea. If you missed it, you can watch it again on our YouTube channel, and that's at CTV Uganda. Please connect with us on all our social medias. That is at CTV Uganda, everywhere, everywhere. We had a very fantastic conversation today, and thank you so much, Sophia, for joining us today on the show. It was very insightful. Your thoughts, your argument, your advice, absolutely thoughtful. And yes, like she said, take responsibility for yourself. You fix you, and everything else will fall in place like perfect dominoes. That's all we had for you on Sunrise at Sea. Until tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Be good, follow SOPs, and don't cheat. But now, okay, bye.